So let's get on to Italy and what they would be looking like at the start of the Euros specifically. Now, obviously, under Mancini, they've had a tremendous successful start to the campaign. They've been unbeaten. The big tests are yet to come. Now, let's look at what they would be lining up as. A nailed-on starting 11 spot is for Gigi Donnarumma at the goalkeeping spot or not. What do you think, Ali?
One of the best goalkeepers in the world, obviously a nailed-on starter for me as well. Italy haven't lost a game since 2019 December. So let's see where Italy goes, but Donnarumma has to be a part of Italy if they want to succeed. Let's talk about the centre-back pairing. We have the options of Chiellini, Bastoni, Acerbi, Bonucci and Toloi. What is your pairing for the Italian squad?
So Bastoni had a absolute amazing season at Inter. Now he was the defensive player for Inter this season. So I feel like Bastoni should be a nailed-on starter regardless of what you're saying anywhere else. Now you've also got the likes of Acerbi, who's been doing really good under Lazio. So there's a lot of different moving pieces that you can play. So I feel like there should be a little bit of room for the older generation in there as well. So I'm probably going to go with Chiellini and Bastoni starting on the centre back spot for Italy. Do you agree with this?
Jose Mourinho once said that Bonucci and Chiellini can teach Harvard level classes to all the defenders in the world on defensive abilities. As a pairing, I love them and they just complement each other as a centre back pairing. So that is my pick. Let's talk about the fullbacks. That is a weird situation going on. I don't rate either of Emerson Palmieri or Spinazzola much highly, but who is your left-sided fullback?
I feel like Spinazzola should be a given choice here. Give him the shout at the left back spot, and he should be doing a good enough job for you. Now, you can obviously play him in and out with other players. And on the right-hand side, which is a bit more interesting, I'm going to go with the likes of Florenzi. What do you think? Is it any better option right now for the right back spot?
Di Lorenzo is not much far behind when it comes to ability as a right back. He likes to move up and down as well. Very high work rate for both of these gentlemen. Moving on to the middle of the park. Now, the system that Mancini likes to deploy is one holding midfielder behind two progressive midfielders on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. For the holding spot, we have Locatelli and Jorginho. So, who is your pick for this spot?
I'm actually going to go with Verratti. I'm not going to go with either of them, right? So, I feel like Verratti is the player to actually start. So he's been doing really good in the PSG. And though Jorginho has had a better season for Chelsea and they won the Champions League, now so you have to really look at what he's going to be playing. Now there are two Mazzellas that are going to be playing alongside with Verratti. So Absolutely. You got the likes of Barella. And you've got Pellegrini. You've got a lot of talent over here. And you can even play the likes of Locatelli in that position, right?
Yeah.
So that's where things get confusing for Italy. Then you got to put in Barella in there. There isn't any way that you leave Barella out of this one. What do you think?
Locatelli for me would be the holding midfielder. And on the left-hand side, I would go with Verratti. And on the right-hand side, nobody should ask any questions. Absolute baller, Nicolo Barella. Absolute baller. He needs to start. And I think he will be the most important player in the midfield for Italy this season. But moving on to the attack, and before we do that, I need to give two shout-outs. I need to give shout-out to David Calabria. I love him as a right back. I think he should be included in the squad instead of Di Lorenzo. And the other player I'm gutted about is the injured Zaniolo. I was so excited to watch him. I absolutely love the player. He has been with Italy ever since he got his debut with Roma. So really sorry for him that he got injured.
Now, the interesting scenario with Calabria, though, is I just want to highlight that for you, is that he actually chose to stay out of the Italy squad because he's going to have a hernia surgery. Now, moving on to the starting side of things for the attackers, I feel like there's a lot of different options. You've got Belotti, you've got Insigne, you got Chiesa, you got Immobile. There's a lot of different players. And you got the poor man Agüero Raspadori, right? An absolute tremendous talent, right? Who could be an absolute key to what Italy can do off the bench. Now, I'm not saying that Raspadori should be starting. My starting centre forward should be no doubt Immobile, right? And then Insigne coming in from the left and Chiesa coming in on the right.
I think the attacker is nailed on, like in the case of England and Belgium. Lukaku goes in for Belgium. For England, we have Harry Kane. Here, I think Immobile is untouchable. Belotti is a great player and a great option off the bench, but he's nowhere near the level of Immobile when it comes to ability or presence in the centre forward spot. On the right hand side, we got Chiesa, had a wonderful season with Juventus. Domenico Berardi, one of my favorite players in Serie A as a whole, always underrated I would love to have him or see him at a bigger club like United or Arsenal. The third option is Bernardeschi. I don't know what he is doing there. He should be at home watching Italy on the television set. But for me, I would go with experience, and Berardi over Chiesa would be my pick. On the left, I would agree with you. Insania, again, a brilliant season. Napoli are over reliant on him, as you said in the last video. Now, moving on to the next question I have for you, and what is your prediction for them?
So I feel like they are going to be the dark horses of the Euros. Now, no one is expecting them to win it. I feel like Italy has a very, very high chance of winning all of this thing, right? Now, at most, I'm going to predict that they make it to the semifinals, and everything after that is up to chance of the luck of the draw, who they're facing in the semifinals.
Makes sense. I think a quarterfinal appearance for Italy would be the best that they can achieve. I think they will draw with a much stronger opposition, and they would get knocked out with a 2-1 scoreline. That's just the gut feeling that I'm having right now. Let's see where the tournament takes them.